Hello, my name is Stacy Williamson. I am the Vice President of Sales at Work Truck Solutions, and welcome to this session. Hope you've had a really great day at CVBS, and I'm looking forward to spending the last few minutes of the day with you. So this afternoon, we will review a strategic approach to the challenges we're all facing in the commercial vehicle market. We're in a period of intense pressure brought on by softening demand, the rising inventory costs, and the complexity of the vehicles we sell and service. And it's time for us to change our focus from simply selling trucks to proactively ensuring customer productivity. So, regardless of where you and your business fit in the commercial ecosystem, I believe that we can all agree that the one non-negotiable metric for the commercial customer is uptime and productivity. Commercial customers aren't just buying metal, they're buying guaranteed revenue. If their vehicles aren't on the road, they're losing money. So each component of the strategy that we'll review today will align with that goal, customer uptime and productivity. So let's dig in. I want to say this before I get started. I've done my best to have examples throughout this that fit multiple types of businesses in the commercial ecosystem. I spend most of my time with dealers, so if I go down that path, I apologize. But all of these action items and ideas can be applied to whatever your business is in the system. All right, so let's dive in here. The transformation from salesperson to trusted advisor or representative is really important, imperative to a proactive sales approach. And our sales teams today need to be the human bridge between our customers' operational problems and the specialized solutions that we provide. And this means that we need to shift our conversation from the transactional sale and move it to a more long-term partnership. I know that can be difficult sometimes, especially when the phone rings and somebody wants to buy a vehicle that they've seen on the lot. It's hard to slow things down to really have a consultative conversation, but that really is the key to being most successful in these really challenging times. If there are fewer vehicles being sold and fewer buyers purchasing now, more of them waiting to buy later, the way to capture that business is to be a true consultant and helpful to their business. And I think a real key point or a key part of that is the total cost of ownership conversation. Mastering that transforms the salesperson from a product vendor into a more trusted business advisor. The key is shifting the focus from the truck's sticker price to the customer's long-term profitability, which again goes back to our original goal. Um, so an action that you might take away here is really working to train your staff to be fluent in this conversation. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of things to keep in mind as you do that. The total cost conversation should start with deep, open-ended questions. They should uncover customers' current cost reality, and that will position the salesperson as an expert who can help solve financial problems. That's a whole different ballgame than taking an order or selling a truck. So instead of asking the customer, how often are your trucks in the shop? That consultative approach might include asking the question, if one of your trucks is unexpectedly down for 3 days, what is your estimated cost of lost revenue? Asking those deep questions and getting answers early in the sales cycle will help to position products and solutions that meet the needs of your customer. So instead of just presenting the features of a particular vehicle, the salesperson uses the customer's own data that they gathered in that discovery phase to quantify the vehicle's value in real dollars. Does that make sense? I mean, ultimately, the goal shouldn't be just to sell a truck, but to demonstrate how your solution can lower the customer's long-term operating costs. Any strategy is successful when you continue to keep your eyes on the ultimate goal. And here we've established that as productivity and uptime for the commercial customer. A key takeaway here is really to shift from price to profit conversations. We'll move on to the next segment I'd like to talk about, and I wrote this one specifically about service in a dealership, but it really can apply to customer service, any kind of service environment. And here I want to talk about how it's important to reimagine that and to align it with maximizing productivity, not only for the customer, but also for our own businesses. So in this, if we think about the customer uptime, that focus, and how it might impact or be related to the customer, to the service department, we should really think about offerings that minimize the customer's downtime, right? Come up with ways, promotions, programs that specifically show the customer, the commercial customer, that by doing business with you, they'll have less downtime. It could be done in a few ways. You could have a dedicated commercial bay that's focused on um, shorter, shorter fixes, like an electrical fix or swapping out tires or state inspections, that sort of thing, that might allow the commercial customer to bypass the regular queue for major overhauls, and that gets them back on the road maybe in hours instead of days. So, you know, dedicating the way you operate, service the particular customer will help with that long-term relationship. Many dealers are in the mobile service business right now, and that focusing that with your commercial customers is super important. It reduces the time and cost associated with towing the vehicle to the dealership. And for minor issues, truck never leaves the customer facility. So it eliminates days of travel, check-in time, and all of that, and minimizes downtime, maximizes uptime and productivity for the dealer. You see a theme here? Another way that the service department can capitalize in this area is using telematics data. So you could use this information to transition from more reactive repairs to a predictive maintenance program. Instead of, instead of waiting for a breakdown, the service leader, the service advisor could actually call the customer to schedule a repair before the failure occurs. And this turns into it takes an unscheduled revenue losing PO into a planned and convenient, cost-effective service visit during possibly low demand hours. So again, minimizing downtime and concentrating on the productivity of the customer. I mean, the service department's really the new sales frontier, and keeping uptime as the core value proposition will really help in fast, sustainable growth. The next topic I'd like to discuss is data and how harnessing it can help with not only merchandising and prospecting, but precision merchandising and prospecting. It gives you the ability to to be prescriptive in the actions that you take and the way that you run your operation. So I'm going to go through a couple of action items here. And the first one is about using data to drive upfit merchandising. So analyzing historical sales data, service parts information at the dealership can help you pinpoint the most profitable and in demand upfit configurations. And those can be for specific vocations in your particular area. So, for example, if your CRM data shows that 80% of local landscape companies buy the same aluminum body and shelving package, proactively stock and digitally merchandising multiple units as ready to work landscape trucks is a different approach than just listing them for sale and hoping a landscaper finds them. This reduces, obviously, the customer's time to deployment. So if you know that in the market, particular upfit is selling, you've got the opportunity to make sure there's something available for those customers today versus waiting for them to have to order and wait for it to come in. Another way that is important, another way we can use data, which I think is very important, is taking that internal customer information. We talked about the CRM a few moments ago, and then external market information, whether it be from data partners, research companies that you work with, your vendor partners. Many of them have this kind of information that can help you, and using that to really take a targeted approach to prospecting in your particular area. So, for instance, we talked about total cost of ownership a few minutes ago. What if there's specific inventory in stock that needs to be moved that you know is perfect for a specific vocation? Taking the time to really look at the total cost per ownership analysis and coming up with a way to show customers, potential buyers, that they could save money by replacing their least reliable unit today turns a rising expense into a predictable capital investment. So it directly impacts the customer's bottom line. And it helps to deepen those conversations. Proactively having the conversation versus waiting for someone to call you or send you an email that they're ready. Take some action. An upfitter in the same scenario might be able to use a movement report or a market demand report to help them have proactive conversation with their dealer customers. So proactively prospecting within current customers, knowing what's moving off the lot, that dealership, and what is in high demand in the market provides an opportunity to have a really proactive consultative conversation, which in turn builds that long-term trusting relationship. So it's, building on the things we've talked about so far. And the big key takeaway here is really to think about stop selling stock and inventory and sell solutions instead. So as I finish up here, I think I'm going to be a little early, Catherine. The commercial vehicle industry in 2025 is a complex machine, but the levers for success are simple. Taking the consultative approach and selling total cost of ownership and partnership is a really great way to set yourself apart from the competition. Using data to predict demand and personalize your upfit inventory is a very smart way to operate your business. And staying focused on uptime can help you turn your service department into a very competitive weapon. The future of this industry belongs to the businesses that prioritize fleet success, prioritize what the customer's trying to accomplish. So let's commit today to making the strategic pivots necessary to secure not only our place in the market, but the success of every business we serve. Thank you.